Hi folks, Charlie Shelton with Disneyland News Today, back once again to try some tasty treats. We are here at Disney California Adventure today for the Lunar New Year Festival. We've got booths all over the place. We've got specials in a lot of the restaurants around the bay. We're gonna be trying all of it. So let's start with the booths. We have Wrapped with Love, where we have 4 things to try here. We got a couple of drinks and a couple of dumplings. So let's dive right in. I'm excited to try this Pineapple Baijiu cocktail. Dark rum, baijiu, allspice dram, pineapple and orange juices, and falernum syrup garnished with a dried red pineapple chip. And this is the reason I'm excited to try it, is look at this, it's beautiful. Oh, that's nice. I don't, I mean, the rum is in there. I can kind of taste the rum in the background, but it's not super strong. It's not spirit forward. This is a tiki cocktail, and I always have a weakness for tiki cocktails. This is great. Pineapple, I would say, is the main thing, as you would understand, in a cocktail called a pineapple baijiu cocktail. Pineapple is definitely the strongest note, and it's not like everything else is just kind of subtle hints. But overall, oh, that's great. That's sweet and just a little bit of spice from the allspice dram, and like I'm not really, I think, familiar enough with baijiu to be like, yeah, that's really baijiu. I've only ever had it in cocktails. I've never had it on its own. So it just, like, I can identify that character from the other cocktails I've had, but I can't pull it out as a flavor on its own because I just haven't had it. But it does taste similar to the other baijiu cocktails I've had, so I am noticing that note in there, but that's really great. I enjoy that a lot. For all of these festivals, they've always had like one really stellar tiki cocktail with like rum and pineapple and everything, and this one is it. And in all those other tiki cocktails, that's usually the one I come back to time and again, so this is going to be the one that I return to several times throughout the festival. Okay, let's do the other cocktail. This one is the Grapefruit Melon Wine Cocktail. Sauvignon Blanc, grapefruit liqueur, watermelon puree, rock melon syrup, and lime juice garnished with skewered grapes. And it's a little bit pinker, a little bit lighter, I think. Woo, very full. Here, let's try this. Wow, very different. Wow, okay, very much more wine. Very wine on the nose. I could smell that before I tasted it, and it definitely tastes like wine. That Sauvignon Blanc coming through pairs really, really well with watermelon. I never would have thought that watermelon puree and wine would go well together, but like that's fantastic. I'm definitely getting the watermelon flavors through. The grapefruit is more subtle, I think, than I was expecting from the menu description, but it is still there. It's just not one of the main flavor notes. Yeah, that's just wine. Like that's the wine. It really is the main thing, and it's bringing out that watermelon character as well. That's really good, but that's almost like a wine spritzer, like a juicy wine spritzer. Whereas the other one is just a straight tiki cocktail. That's fantastic. All right, so we do have a couple of dumplings to try here as well. Let's start with the bok choy and mushroom dumplings with a black garlic sauce. So that's these dumplings here. Now they gave them to me, I ordered both of them, they just kind of gave them to me, but the little white half moon shaped dumplings are the ones that are the bok choy and mushroom dumplings. So we have that right there. That's interesting. The bok choy is kind of the main character. Like the mushroom is there as well, but it's not presenting itself, I think, as much as the bok choy. It's kind of not quite a spinachy flavor, but like definitely greens. Oh, that chili garlic sauce, or black garlic sauce, excuse me. That black garlic sauce is insane. I could eat that on everything. It's like a soy sauce, but definitely more garlic forward. That's great. We're gonna move on to pork and shrimp wontons. And these are with a black garlic sauce. These are the little round yellowish ones. So let's try this. Those are fantastic. These two, with all of the things that we've had both at the booths and the non-booths, so many of these things that are, Asian food specialties are fusion or different or just strange. This tastes like dim sum to me. Like, this is kind of what I was expecting and what I wanted when I came in for this today. So I'm very pleased with this. Let's try it with that garlic sauce. I mean, this is going to make anything better. Get out of here. Wow. All right. I know it's a little early for the booths to call my favorite food so far, but I think this one might be it. The bok choy and mushroom dumplings were not bad, but there's that very green vegetable character that was like the main crux of this. This one is, you get shrimp all the way. I mean, there's pork as well, but like that is shrimp first. That's just a classic little wonton. That's fantastic. Well, Wrapped with Love has been overall a huge success. That is a great offering. We're gonna move now to another food booth. This is the Lucky 8 Lantern booth over in the Grizzly Peak area along Grizzly Trail. We are going to jump right into this. Now, the one thing that everybody's been talking about is this quesadilla egg roll. I don't know how I feel about it. I love quesadilla. I love egg rolls, but it's just a really weird combo, just like the pepperoni pizza bao. Like, they don't need to cross, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to reserve judgment. So this is the quesadilla egg roll with guajillo pepper consomme, filled with Oaxaca cheese, beef birria, and a side of guajillo pepper consomme. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to cut this open first just to show you what we've got here. So there it is. That's what we've been waiting for. All right, let's try. I'm going to try it on its own first. Huh. Okay. So it's a chimichanga. When you take the shredded beef and the cheese and everything, and you wrap it in a very tiny wrapper, either an egg roll wrapper or a burrito, and then you deep fry it, that's a chimichanga. So it just kind of tastes like a chimichanga. Let's try this this consomme. Oh, that's much thicker than I was expecting for a consomme. Huh. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of not quite salsa. Like, it's all one consistency of liquidy, runny salsa. Yeah. So that's that just comes off as a chimichanga. Like, there's no egg roll in that. Like, yes, it's egg roll wrapper, but like, it all feels just like a chimichanga. So I'm not as off-put by it as I thought I was going to be, but also it's not even a little reference of being like, the Asian dish that I know as an egg roll. So that's just very different. Next up at the Lucky 8 Lantern is the Mandarin Mousse Cake. Layers of mandarin mousse with vanilla cake and clementine compote, finished with white chocolate, crunch balls, and a tangerine glaze. This is adorable. If they ever come back and do like a history of Disney California Adventure Festival, I want this to be the orange stinger cake, because that's what I was thinking of while I was photographing it. This is beautiful. And it's so jiggly. Like, it's just So satisfying. Let me cut this open so we can see the inside here. There we go. Here. Let me show you what I'm looking at. All right, so there you have it. That's the inside of the cake, and this is just too cute. It's so jiggly. I can't stand it. It's so adorable. Okay, this is fantastic, and let me tell you why. When you're eating an orange and you get that solid orange flavor, it's different than when you're eating a little clementine. You get that extra hit of tangerine oil that sets it apart from an orange, makes it more tangerine, you know, the clementine flavor. This has that extra hit of citrus flavor and really sets it apart as a clementine. I mean, I know it's probably from the compote inside, but like, it's still just so nice and unique to have that almost floral, citrusy character to like a sweet treat, like a sweet mousse like this. I've never had that before. Well, that's fantastic. It's very sweet, but not overly so. It's got that citrus coming in really nice. The chocolate works really well with it because chocolate and orange kind of tastes a little bit like Christmas almost. This is great, and it's just, like I said, it's adorable and it's jiggly and it's just fun. This is one of the more fun offerings I think that they've had. It's an all-around, visually and flavorful, appealing treat. This is something I want to tell people about. That's great. Well, moving on from there, we have a coconut lavender matcha foam iced coffee. Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Co. French Bistro blend, coconut milk, coconut cream, and white chocolate sauce garnished with lavender matcha coconut foam, sea salt, and purple sanding sugar. I don't think there's enough descriptors on this. Jeez. All right, well, coffee with lavender matcha foam. Got a little bit of everything. So the foam, like, this is very coffee forward. I enjoy it. And so often with these iced coffees, cold brews, any of that kind of stuff, I usually complain that they're not coffee forward enough. This one is plenty coffee forward for me. So I'm happy with that. Don't get me wrong. But the flavor on the matcha is so subtle that it's almost like the pendulum has swung too far now. There's not enough of the matcha in the foam. It is there. It's barely detectable. I get no lavender. But the matcha is barely detectable. I don't know. I feel like I'm just not going to be satisfied with one of these flavored cold brew iced coffee things. Like they're always too far in one direction or the other. It's hard to find that balance. It's good though. It's a good iced coffee. And I think I need it after everything I've eaten today. I think I need a little pick-me-up. So it's still pleasant. It just doesn't have a whole lot to set it apart from any of the other iced coffees I've had. And we have one more stop to make before we move on. Next up, this is from the Longevity Noodle Co. This is the Raspberry Oat Milk Tea. Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Co. Ceylon Tea, raspberry and demerara syrups, and oat milk, garnished with skewered raspberries. I've heard very good things about this. I'm looking forward to it. And it does have the skewered raspberries. It's just bright pink. It's not much to look at in the way some of the other drinks are, but it all comes down to the flavor for me. Oh, wow. Get out of here. Wow. That's spectacular. It's so good. It's just sweet enough the raspberry comes through really strong. Not just like red fruit, kind of fruity flavored, straight up raspberry. Wow, that's great. But also the tea, like the tea isn't lost. There's a milk tea here that's mostly milk and not a lot of tea. And this one, you get enough of the tea coming through. Like the raspberry hits you first, and that's the main flavor note. That's what you're gonna taste first and foremost. But the tea is definitely there. It's present enough, and that's kind of what I want from this. I don't want the tea to be entirely lost in this. And the oat milk, I've always liked oat milk. It's a little less intense than full-on cow milk. So I like that, and I think that works well in this because it doesn't bog down the tea. It's light and watery, but still just creamy enough. This is perfectly balanced. I love this. Wow. I'm surprised at how good that is. That's amazing. All right, well, I'm gonna finish all of these foods, and then it's time to move on to our last couple of booths. Our final stop for the food booths of the Lunar New Year Festival here at DCA is over at Red Dragon Spice Traders, where we have 3 new things to try. Let's start with the Red Spice Fried Chicken Bites. Fried chicken chicharron in spicy red chili sauce. All right, well, to be honest, it looks a little bit like orange chicken. Like it just looks like that fried, crispy, like halfway between orange chicken and like a, you know, crispy fried beef, so.
Be sure to send those pictures.
Do you have it on money to buy on that?
Yeah, I have a gift card.
Okay.
So,
Alright, let's see if they actually
Do you
Cool.
see that Black Panther or Spider-Man on the way out?
no. Black Panther wasn't there.
Oh, it's falling down.
doesn't so much break down as you just decide when you want to swallow it. Wow. All right, well, that is very spicy. I mean, it said, you know, spicy red chili sauce, but like, that's even a little spicy, I think, for me. I usually enjoy spicy food, but this is a little much just because I don't want to blow out my taste buds for everything else. Like, there's so much else to eat here that I really want to enjoy, and I don't want it to be so spicy that it's burning me out. So, it's only okay. They're very, very chewy. The crispiness of the fried is kind of bogged down by the red chili sauce, so it's not quite all the way crispy like really good chicharron, but it's not also, like there's nothing inside. I'm kind of expecting there to be like chicken or something inside to give substance to the bite, to the crunch that there is, and it just kind of peters out. So it's chewy and not spectacular. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, the flavor is good, but it's just so spicy that you only get it for a minute before the spice takes over and completely destroys your mouth. So that's not my favorite. We have our guava whiskey cocktail. This is whiskey, ginger liqueur, guava nectar, coconut cream, and lime juice with a lime wheel. So there it is, and let's see how it goes.
Okay, there's
Wow, that is very whiskey forward, but like, it's not like, oh, there's just a bunch of whiskey in there. Like, it's just that the flavor of the whiskey is brought out by the guava. I never realized how similar they were and how they go together so well, but like they really do. They complement each other very well. In the same way at the other booth, the wine and the watermelon kind of brought the best of each other out. This is also whiskey and guava bringing the best of each other out. Yeah, it wasn't just a float on top, like that's all the way through. I don't know, like it's good and it's interesting. I'm glad I had it. It's interesting. It brings a character to the whiskey and a character to the guava that I wasn't necessarily aware of, something I didn't think of coming into it, but I don't know that it's as enjoyable. It's just interesting, and it makes me notice something about the similarity between the two ingredients rather than being like, this is an enjoyable, really good cocktail. Yeah, I think maybe it's just a touch sweet. Like I want the sweet to pull back a little bit to get at the guava and whiskey flavors a little bit stronger. I don't want that sweet to kind of cut through everything. I want to enjoy that unique flavor that I'm having in this drink. So it just kind of It's too pushy. I don't know how else to describe it. Like it's you're getting it for just a second and then you get pushed through with all the sugar. So it's okay. Next up, we have our gochujang elote. This is steamed corn on the cob, rolled in gochujang aioli and cotija cheese, drizzled with a spicy gochujang sauce. And there are very few things in the dining world I hate more than spicy sauce in my mustache and on my lips, because it does not come off and it sticks and it burns forever. So I am going to be that guy and cut it off. Cut it off the corn on the cob like a 2-year-old. All right. And I will eat this with a spoon. Okay. Way saltier than it needs to be. The flavor is good. The cotija is already salty enough. Wow, there's so much salt on that. It's not even the spice that's bothering me. Like it's literally just the salt. Woof. The flavor of the gochujang aioli is good, and I like it on the corn. Like it works well, and there is a bit of heat. It's not as spicy as the chicken skins. There is a bit of heat, but it's enough where I could eat this whole thing without feeling like I'm completely burnt out of everything. You know, it's not going to overtake my taste buds and destroy me from tasting other things. But it's just so salty. And I don't know if it's like a seasoning or if it's from the gochujang aioli itself. I don't know where it is, but then the cotija as well is already a salty cheese. It's too much. It's overpowering, and it's makes what would otherwise be pleasant unpleasant just because it's so salty. So that's a bit of a letdown. But that's it for our booths. Let's head over to the restaurants and see what specials they have for us. Okay, first stop for our restaurants. We have the Coffee Cart by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea, and we have a couple of items here. First up, we're going to try the green tea horchata. This is green tea flavored horchata. I've had a love-hate relationship with the horchata at the cappuccino cart. I haven't often liked it. Like the horchata on its own is fine, but when they get the flavors, it always throws me off. So let's hope this is different. It does have little boba pearls on top. They're just kind of sweet flavored. I can't really pin down what that is exactly. All right, let's try this. Okay, so a lot of the time I have a problem with the flavored horchatas because the horchata cheapens the flavor of the drink and the flavor of the drink cheapens the horchata, so it's not really good in either direction. This is a really good green tea drink. It's sweet but not overly floral, which is really nice. I don't like it when it gets too floral. It kind of tastes like lipstick sometimes. Like this is a nice green tea flavor without taking it too far. It is very sweet and creamy. I wouldn't count this necessarily as a horchata. It's got a little bit of that like rice milk character to it, and there is a bit of cinnamon in there. So that's really the only thing that I can attribute to the horchata. But on its own, it's just a great green milk tea. That's actually really pleasant. That's one of the first flavored horchatas from this place that I've actually really enjoyed, and I could see myself getting this again. We have another item here. This is the Dalgona Coffee Bundt Cake. Coffee bundt cake filled with sweet milk and topped with Dalgona foam. So Dalgona had a moment during the pandemic where everybody was making this Dalgona foam. I'm glad to see it's surviving here at DCA. So let's try it. This foam is so light and fluffy. It's so light and fluffy. Whoa. That's great. That is very, very coffee forward. Wow. It's not as sweet as I was expecting, which I kind of like. You know, I want it to be very coffee forward because I know that the sweet milk in the middle is going to bring it, and the cake. Let's get to some of that. So the cake is also covered with, I don't know if these are chocolate shavings or chocolate sprinkles. Okay, so that's their pretty standard coffee bundt cake that they usually have. They use it in a lot of specials like this. It's usually when I eat it, I taste the coffee a little bit more, but I think with the addition of the Dalgona cream, that's kind of overthrowing everything. So it's not quite as coffee as it usually is, I think, just by comparison. So I want to try them together. Wow, that's really nice. It does bring out more of the coffee flavor in the cake, but that cream is just incredible. It's so coffee. I want to try some of that sweet milk in the middle too. Ooh, so it is like a sweetened condensed milk way down in the middle, and as soon as you break into it, it's running all over now. And there's that extra kick of sweetness. That's really nice. That is surprisingly well balanced. For a sweet treat like this, to have like not every single ingredient is all the way sweet all the time. It's kind of varying levels of sweet that when eaten together in one bite, you know, combines to one great bite of different textures and flavors and sweetness levels. So that's really pleasant. I mean, I'm not always a huge fan of the little bundt cake specials they do here, but this one, I gotta say, is probably the best one they've done so far. So I am very pleasantly surprised with that. All right, we've got a long road to go, so let's keep moving. Next up, we're here at Magic Key Terrace, which is exclusive to Magic Key holders. And we have some new pork spare ribs. These are not on the menu at the moment, but you can ask for them by name. They're the Lunar New Year specialty items. So let's see, these are just beautiful. Let's try one of these here. They're very, very sauced. Very, very, very sauced. Those are really nice. That peanut sauce is great. Woof. They are messy. So they're good. They're not as spicy as I thought they were going to be. The peanut sauce is very pleasant, not overpoweringly peanut. I usually like a little more peanut in the sauce. This isn't something I think that I would have gone for, but it's really good for what it is. We also have a slaw on top here. The slaw is nice and fresh and crunchy. Those red peppers really pop. Well, this is just fantastic. I mean, they have some really good food up here. Not everything is a winner, but they've got some good entries, and this is one of them. I've enjoyed this more than a lot of the other things we've had so far. Wow. That's a winner for me. All right, let's keep going. And our next stop is here at the Lamplight Lounge Boardwalk Dining, where we have one specialty item. These are the pork dumplings with Chinese broccoli, roasted mushrooms, and fried shallots. So they're also served in a broth. These are nice. Look at this. Ooh, they're so goopy. Whoa. So the dough is a little bit more, I guess, al dente than I was expecting. Like they're a little harder, almost like they're underdone. Could just be a difference in the dough, but I just haven't had something like this before. But they're very smoky And the pork flavor comes through really nicely without being fatty or greasy. That's fantastic. These are really good. It is a little salty and sweet. I assume this is like a shoyu or something on the side. So it's very salty and very sweet. And I think this is cilantro. Cilantro, because everything has to have cilantro. Other than that, it's great. Let's try some of this broccoli. The broccoli is crisp and nice. It's got a good crunch. And I'll try some mushrooms as well. They're so roasted and fried that they've lost a lot of their flavor. They're the big, like, you know, forest mushroom style. But they kind of have lost a lot of their flavor. They don't really bring much, but it's nice to have them still. I think the Chinese broccoli is better. But boy, these are really nice. It's kind of a 50-50 as to whether or not the specialty item here is going to be good from year to year and festival to festival. But this is a really good one. So I've enjoyed that a lot. Alrighty, let's keep moving on. And next up, we have Paradise Garden Grill, where they have an entire Lunar New Year menu. They have several returning things, but there are also several new things. So let's dive in. We've got some shrimp lo mein. This is lo mein noodles tossed with shrimp, mushrooms, onions, carrots, and bok choy. Let's give this a shot. Okay. Very garlic forward. That's what hits you first, and that's where it's like, oh, this is going to be really good. And then it just kind of peters out. Yeah, it's just kind of garlic. They're not even as salty as I would expect, which I'm grateful for after all the salty foods we've had here. But the shrimp are fine. They're, you know, cooked on their own and then added to the lo mein. This is, I think, a little not underwhelming, but like understimulating. Like with so many other things, there's so many flavors hitting you in the face, and it's so strong. This one is very simple. It's simple is a good word. Like it's good, you know, on its own. I'm not losing my mind over it, but it's good. Yeah. All right, well, that's not too bad. It's that's fine. This is our kimchi bokkeumbap. Please forgive the pronunciations. I don't know if I'm getting that right. This is kimchi, potato, carrot, and onion fried rice with egg and Korean chili paste topped with crispy sweet and sour tofu and black sesame seeds. It's a lot going on in this. Oh. So it's a it's like a fried rice. It's a fried rice with a lot going on, right? The tofu is nice. It's sweet and sour tofu, as it said, but it's just kind of fried tofu that is then rolled in the sweet and sour, so it gets less crispy because it's rolled in sweet and sour sauce. But the flavor is still good. Yeah, there's something, I mean, again, I'm not blown away by it, but it's just kind of, this is less simple than the noodles. This has a lot more going on. It's also got a fair amount more heat to it. But, like, it's very complex, but it's hard to really tell what's happening because nothing is really super strong coming through, right? Like, it's potatoes and carrots, and like, when you get a bite of the Korean chili paste, like, you definitely notice it, but it's kind of mixed in throughout the rice, so it's not really overpowering. It just gives you that extra dose of heat. But yeah, like, I kind of Whereas everything else has been so salty, this one I think needs a little bit of like soy sauce or something. But maybe that's just because I usually associate rice and fried rice with soy sauce. But yeah, it's okay. So far, I haven't been thoroughly impressed. So let's move on. We have a cocktail. This is the blackberry soju cocktail. Soju, blackberry puree, and lemon juice with a hint of ginger. Another one that seems very simple. I'm glad that they're not like, you know, overloading us with stuff. This seems pretty straightforward. That's nice. I don't get a lot of the soju. Last year, or some of the other cocktails that are available here, I think this year, the soju comes in a little more strong, and this one is more like gentle and sweet, and I'm getting more of the lemon than I thought I would. There is that little bit of ginger. It kind of brings like an herbal, earthy quality to it, and that gives it a little spice note, I guess. Like it keeps it interesting. It's something underneath all the sweet, but that lemon helps to cut through the sweetness of the blackberry, and that's great. It's well balanced. I think I could stand for just a little more lemon, but other than that, like, it's pretty good. And it's also so sweet and easy to drink. That could be dangerous of drinking 7 or 8 of those at a time. All right, we've got one more thing here from Paradise Garden Grill. This is the Tiger Milk Tea with brown sugar boba. And believe there was something similar to this last year, but not quite. I'm not sure. This is always the best part of a boba drink. Let's satisfying. All right, let's try this. The boba are good. They're chewy and soft. Like they've had the boba here several times in other drinks, so I'm used to the brown sugar boba now. I kind of want a little bit more tea in this. Like it's a milk tea, and I want the tea to be a little bit stronger, a little more present, because it's kind of lost in the sweet milk and everything. So it's okay. It's not spectacular, but it's okay. Yeah. Those brown sugar boba are good, but the regular Thai tea that they've had over at Lucky Fortune Cookery in the past, that's a little more tea forward, and I think that's better, and like the boba aren't enough to save it when this is just a little underwhelming. So right next door at Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta, we have a milk taro cheesecake. This is available in the dessert case up near the check stand, the checkout place, because it is a buffeteria style. So it's very bright, vibrant purple on top. This is nice. Let's try this. Wow, that's so much more taro than I was expecting. That's really nice. Ooh. So the taro is the purple cream on top. Let's try just the cheesecake. So the cheesecake is just kind of caramely, I think, or I guess milk cheesecake, but it's kind of almost a caramely flavor, and that taro cream on top is just incredible. That's so fruity, and like taro has that certain like almost tropical fruit quality, but like also kind of almost sweet potato. Like it's such an interesting complex flavor, and it's so strong of a flavor in this cream, which is great because it's usually very delicate. So I like that it's coming to the fore and being such a big part of the flavor profile of this dish. That's fantastic. Well, that was a win. And right nearby at the Goofy Sky School churro cart, we have a new specialty churro. This is the almond cookie churro. It's rolled in crumbled cookies and covered in an almond icing with slivered almonds on top. So, there we go. Let's try this. It's okay. It's not too particularly different than a regular churro. Like the almond cookie has a very similar flavor to a cinnamon sugar churro. So I'm not really getting a whole lot other than the occasional drizzle of the almond icing, which is just kind of sweet. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a normal-ish churro with just that little added bit of crumbly cookie flavor. So that's not bad. I enjoyed that. All right, well, we still have a little ways to go. Let's keep moving. Next up is Lamplight Lounge proper. This is the downstairs Lamplight Lounge that you need reservations for, as opposed to the boardwalk dining, which is outside. Down here, we have 3 new Lunar New Year items to try. First up, we're going to try the Lamplight Lounge Lunar New Year cocktail. This is Han Soju, Aperitivo Aperol, carrot and orange juices, and cream of coconut. And it is a good-looking drink. Look at this. This is gorgeous. All right, let's try this. Huh. That's interesting. I've never had carrot juice in a cocktail before. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm usually really taken by the cocktails here at Lamplight Lounge, and this one is a little strange. It's not bad. It's just there's something off about it, and I think it's the carrot juice. You know, it's like sweet, but like that carrot kind of sweet, like a vegetable sweet. That's very unique. I'm not gonna say good. I'm gonna say unique. But it's also not bad, so it's kind of somewhere in between. I think I'm just not familiar enough with a carrot juice cocktail to really be taken by this. So, not my favorite. There are a lot of other really great cocktails on the menu here that I would honestly prefer. All right, next up we have some food. This is the Surf and Turf fried rice. 5-spice rubbed New York steak, sautéed shrimp, fried rice, ginger pea puree, and chili oil, topped with carrot salad. So this, as the server warned me, is not a traditional fried rice. It's not, you know, mixed up like the kimchi fried rice that we've had over at Paradise Garden Grill. This is a block of rice that itself is fried. So we're gonna take a look at that. I'm gonna move this carrot salad off the top a little bit. So it's something new, something exciting to try, and I'm looking forward to it. I just want to try this rice on its own. Oh, it's so soft. I thought it was going to be harder. So this is fried rice in there. It's still got the vegetables, the peas and carrots and everything, and it's very creamy. It's almost like arancini. And that fried flavor, like it's like, doing great, thank you. That fried flavor is like, it's almost like French fries. That's really interesting. I can't quite put my finger on it. This is another thing. I think I'm not used to this kind of a fried rice. It's not unpleasant. It's just so unique. Like I can't wrap my head around it. Let's try this 5-spice rubbed steak. That sounds awesome. Not getting a lot of the 5-spice on there. Yeah, it's just kind of steak. But let's try one of these shrimp. The shrimp are lovely, very buttery, wow. That's great. And the carrot salad is nice. Thin shaved carrots, lightly pickled, almost like a quick pickle. So I think overall, like I'm not blown away by it. It's fine, but it's 3 separate bites. Like they're all disparate. They're all very different flavors on the plate. They don't really come together, I guess. But like of the three of them there, all three of them are well done. They're just the shrimp and the steak are not anything particularly special. And the rice is interesting, but I don't think that's enough to overall save this. Whereas last year's Lunar New Year, they had tacos, Kung Pao bao tacos that were just unbelievable, and they stayed on the menu for a very long time. That really was something like a showpiece that you go home and tell your friends about. That's kind of what I expect from Lamplight Lounge, and this just wasn't that. It's not unpleasant, but it's also not anything head and tails above and beyond to justify this price point when there are other things to eat in the festival. So it's a little expensive, and it's not super duper the best. We do have some donuts though, and I'm hoping that will save it here. These are the sesame seed donuts. Donuts topped with sesame seed brittle and served with kaya jam dipping sauce. So that is a coconut dipping sauce with eggs. And these donuts come in a cute little box, say Lamplight Lounge. Nice little souvenir, and there it is. There's the donut itself, very covered. Let's try it with the kaya jam. Thank you. Wow. That dipping sauce is insane. That's so good. It's coconut, but like bringing the nut coconut, like bringing the nut out of the coconut. It's a very nutty flavor. Let me try this on its own. These are good, and they're sweet, and the sesame seed brittle on top gives it that roasty, toasted flavor. But I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of want the donut to be sweeter. Like, I don't think I've ever said anything at Disneyland needs to be more sweet, but I think this does. Like, it's not coated in the cinnamon sugar like they usually are. So it's just kind of the dough on the bottom half of it, and that leaves me a little wanting. But with the jam, the dipping sauce, that evens it out, because this dipping sauce is very nice and sweet. So as a pair, as one whole dish, it's great. Yeah. And the donuts far and away are the best entry for the Lunar New Year menu here at Lamplight Lounge. The surf and turf fried rice is okay, but nothing spectacular. The Lunar New Year cocktail is a little confusing and equally only okay, but these donuts with the dipping sauce are spectacular, as the donuts here always are. So I am very satisfied with that. We still have a few more stops to make, so let's keep going. Next up for our food specials in the restaurants is over at Pacific Wharf Cafe, where we have a white chocolate apple bread pudding. This is Granny Smith apples and white chocolate with creme anglaise and whipped topping. And this is fresh out of the oven. I've waited for this for a little while. As you can see, the sun has gone down, so I've been waiting on this one for a minute, but it's gonna be worth it because I've never had a bad bread pudding here, and this one is fresh out of the oven just now. So I am super excited for this. Come on. Wow. That's so good. My goodness. So that, I've had several of the bread puddings here. Even though this says white chocolate apple bread pudding, it's coming through with so much cinnamon and apple. I'm not getting a lot of the white chocolate, but that's okay. The cinnamon apple is just so, like, the bread pudding itself is cinnamon and then there's apple mixed throughout. Just so amazing. Wow, that's good. Oh. That's incredible. It's soft. It's like just barely crisp enough on the edges, but it's soft all the way through. The apples are cooked perfectly. They still have just a bit of chew to them, just a bit of bite. And it's like real apple flavor coming through, which is really nice. Sometimes when you stew apples, you lose a lot of that and it just becomes like apple pie flavor. This is real apple flavor coming through. I mean, I expect nothing less. Like I said, I haven't had a bad bread pudding from here at Pacific Wharf Cafe, and this is just another one of the amazing bread puddings. This is spectacular and fresh out of the oven. How can you be better than that? That's incredible. All right, we have just a couple more things to do here. We have over at Lucky Fortune Cookery. This is the mango sticky rice. Taro and coconut sticky rice with mango gel, toasted coconut, and fresh mango. We're seeing taro more and more. I kind of like that. Like there's taro in the sticky rice. So yes, it's mango sticky rice because it's got mango here on the bottom, but like the rice itself has taro in it, which is nice. I like seeing the inclusion of that throughout. So let's try this. Huh. Okay, so here's the thing. With the taro cheesecake, or the taro milk cheesecake, it was very fruit forward. It had that fruit aspect of the taro flavor. This is more the potato aspect of the taro flavor. That's not a bad thing, but it's like a sweet potato almost. Yeah, like it's more of that starchiness to it because of the rice, and that's kind of bringing that out of the taro flavor. But this is the other side of the coin of taro. Let's try it with the mango. So that mango gel kind of brings that bright fruit pop, where the rice with the taro is starchy and solid and congealed. This is bright and not quite acidic, but it's got that fruit flavor to it that kind of brings it out and makes it a little more zesty. Yeah. It's nice. I don't think it's my favorite. I will say the mango with the real mango chunks in there, like that's a proper mango flavor. It's not like mango flavored things. It's not like a mango jelly. It's a mango gel, but it has pieces of mango in it. So you're really getting the fresh mango flavor through it. And, you know, like the menu says, it does have fresh mango in it, and that's part of the gel. And I think that's the stronger flavor than just a jelly mango, you know, candy flavor. So it's pleasant, but I don't think it's my favorite. I mean, granted, I'm just coming off of this amazing bread pudding, so take that as you will, but it's still good enough. I don't think I would revisit that one soon. Okay, last up, I think this is our very last thing. Over at Sonoma Terrace, we have the Pad Thai spring roll. Shrimp with scrambled eggs, noodles, crushed peanuts, and Thai basil, served with tangy slaw and Pad Thai sauce. So I've got my spring roll here, and let's try it on its own. Wow. That's awesome. I know it's a Pad Thai roll, but honestly I could do without the noodles inside. It's just a bit much for me. I like the basil and the carrots and everything and the shrimp, like it's all working so well. The noodles almost seem to get in the way, which is interesting for a Pad Thai thing. Let's try it with the Pad Thai sauce. So the Pad Thai sauce brings a vinegar character to it, which is a nice pop, like a tang that goes to it. But honestly, it's so nice to just have everything being fresh and nice. And like the basil is so floral and fragrant and everything just tastes so alive. I almost don't want that vinegar tang to it. It's too saucy. Like, this is good on its own, and I know this kind of makes it more of a pad thai, but I feel like, especially after a day full of all the foods we've eaten, something that's like fresh and light is just a nice little snack to kind of end my day on. So I prefer it without that. But we also have a slaw. Let's try this. That's nice. See, I'm okay with the vinegar kick there. Kind of eating it all together, this is kind of where I want my vinegar kick from, and it provides it. So like, this is what I need. The pad thai sauce to me is a bit superfluous just because the spring roll is so great on its own. If it needed help, the pad thai sauce would help, but I think the spring roll as it stands is fantastic and fresh and very nice. So this is where I get my vinegar kick from, and I'm happy with that. Yeah. Working all together, that's a nice little snack, in lieu of a dinner after everything we've eaten today. That's a nice little snack to end the day on. So there you have it. Well, that's everything we've got for all of the outside of the booth specials. If you enjoyed the video, please let us know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time.